I won a silver in the deadlift in my weight class, which was 83 kilos at the time.
All right, guys, welcome back. We got another special guest today, PK, my nutrition coach. That's how we met initially, but now it's more than that. We have a relationship like as a brother, friend, and he's guiding me through my fight, mindset training, and that has changed the whole trajectory of it. I can't explain everything by myself, so here, tell us a little bit about yourself, coach.
For sure. Thanks for having me, brother.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you making me part of this fantastic podcast.
Absolutely.
As I said, my name is PK, and I'm a performance coach, and I've been in the health and wellness space for 24 years now. I started actually working in the space in May of 2000. So
Wow.
we're going past 24 years now. The first decade I spent working in sports nutrition. That's where I met my brother, Coach G, who you've also met and worked
I
with.
did, yes.
And we were marketing products, formulating products, learning all about the sports nutrition space. We had a lot of good times there. Helped that company go from, I think it was 40 people when we first started, and over 200 plus when we left.
Wow.
The company was sold for just under $1 billion in 2012 or something like that.
Who are your favorite kinds of people to work with? Like, what gets you really excited?
That's an easy answer. It's the energy that a person brings. They could be an athlete, because I love that. I work less with athletes these days and more with older folks, focused more on longevity. But if that person brings commitment and energy and drive, and they really want to make a change, I just feed off that. Like when Kalam walks into a room, you know he's there. Even if he doesn't say anything, he just has an energy and a positivity. And there are a few folks like that I've had the privilege to work with over the years. They bring this energy, and you have to match that energy. I'm more of an introverted, more reserved personality, but I feel that energy and I respond to that. And I'm like, okay, we have to get after it. Like, this gentleman wants to fight so-and-so in X number of weeks. We can't F around. Like, let's do this. And so those types of folks elevate you, elevate your game, and make you better as a coach, because you want nothing but the best for them. You want the best for everybody, but especially when someone like a Kalam or an Ashton or so many of the folks I've worked with, a lot of folks in the fight game too, when they're bringing that energy, like, you want to match that energy as well.
100%. Yeah, it must be super rewarding as a coach too.
As you're doing longevity, and you taught me this breathing technique, and it worked amazing.
Yeah.
Was there a time when you had to use this one for yourself and then you realized like, oh, wow, this is eye-opener. So
Yeah,
maybe I should be teaching other people that,
Yes. No, it's a great question. I'll back up even before the breathwork piece to the meditation piece. I can tell you when I started. It was 8 years ago, last month in August.
wow.
And I know this because my daughter was due, right? And I was stressing about having a second child and how we're going to manage it all from a time and resources perspective. And I was like, man, like I got to do something. And so I found this tool. It was called Headspace. And Headspace is this app and headset that you put on your head, and it measures your brain activity while you're meditating. I used that for years because I would look and I would get instant feedback after every meditation session on how calm I was. And I don't even know if it was like legit or not, like whether the science was even there yet.
But it worked for you.
It worked for me, and it kept me accountable, and it kept me coming back day after day to practice, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
To actually do the thing,
Yeah.
to actually meditate, to be consistent with it. This helped me to become consistent. Eventually, I moved on to other tools and other apps. I'm using one now called Waking Up. And with my own app, the Longevity app, we've got some guided meditations in there that were also very useful.
So
Yeah.
I was reading a little bit about you in this app, and I read that you kind of had like a bit of a turning point a couple years ago.
Yes.
You were kind of going through some personal health issues,
Yeah.
and can you talk about that? Like, what
Absolutely.
exactly?
Yeah. So as I was saying, so started in health and wellness in 2000, worked in sports nutrition until 2011, 12, yeah, something like that. And then started the sports coaching business with Coach G at that time. And then in 2019, I had this eye infection from hell. We went to Florida with my family, came back, and I had this thing in my eye. I thought, okay, no big deal. I get some drops and it should go away in a few days. Days turned into a few months. And this thing like was not responding to regular medication. And so at the time my mom was alive and she recommended that I go see her doctor. And it turns out her eye doctor was like this OG of eye doctors. He's worked with the Raptors. He's worked with the Maple Leafs. He's like,
Wow.
like legit dude, right? And my mom didn't know because she doesn't really care about sports. Didn't really care about sports. Didn't notice all the pictures of all these famous athletes on the wall.
Wow.
I went to see him. He got me on some real strong medication. It cleared up. I ended up losing some vision in my right eye, which still to this day is not like 100%. That was a catalyst to let me know how fragile life can be and not to take your health for granted. So that was the first sign, if you will. Later that year, October of 2019, my mom, who had been going through some health challenges, gets another diagnosis that she's got ovarian cancer. And the thing about ovarian cancer is at this stage, when it gets diagnosed, it's usually very advanced. And there's not much in the way they can do with respect to treatment. So she gets this diagnosis October of 2019. We go through multiple rounds of chemo, October, November, December, January. She goes through a surgery in February to take out, it's supposed to be a hysterectomy. They go in, they see how advanced the cancer is, and they have to make a call. They end up closing her back up and deciding that, you know what, her quality of life would be better if we didn't operate. Once I learned that, I realized how serious the situation was, right? She fought valiantly for the next several months as best as she could. Cancer is a pretty serious thing. And September 20th of 2020, she ended up passing away.
Sorry about that.
And so, thank you. And so that was another like pivotal moment in my life where I saw the fragility of life. I realized how important it is to take care of yourself. Not that she didn't. And I mean, she was really a very healthy person, but cancer is one of those things that sometimes there's things that are beyond your control.
Yeah.
So it was just another wake up call to me. And so I could see kind of reading these signs that life is fragile. You got to take care of yourself. You got to take charge of your health as best as you can. And I'm also noticing a lot of my clientele is skewing older. I'm getting more 40 and 50 and 60 and 70-year-olds walking through the doors with all kinds of issues, and they want my help. How can I best serve them? How can I best help them? And so all those factors were a big catalyst leading to the creation of this idea, this platform called the Longevity Path, which resulted in the creation of the app and the workshops that we do for individuals and for companies to help them live better, or look better, basically.
And that's the
best
life, right?
life. Yeah.
That's the dream.
That's it.
Live better, look better,
Yeah.
and do the stuff that you actually love, which is what you are doing. That's a dream right there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So
Thank you for sharing that. That's
Absolutely.
like, wow, that's that you're taking something that, you went through very
Right.
close to your heart, and you're deciding like, what can I do to give back? What can I do to improve people's lives? Like that's really
Absolutely.
inspirational.
Thank you. I appreciate
for
that.
sharing that.
And I think health is, personally think like your most important wealth. It's bigger than money. It's bigger than material possessions. If you don't have that, what do you have, right?
Yeah.
I just try to help people to realize how much agency, how much power they have over their circumstances when it comes to health. Not to outsource that to anybody, to really take charge of that and seek out professionals in every different area to help you be as healthy and to thrive as much as possible.
Wow. One of my biggest weakness is consistency. For example, in my whole life, I feel like your brain is the biggest weapon you have.
Yes.
And if you have this one sharper, you can do anything because you've been around for a while from your personal experience. What is one thing that you're going to tell us that how can we stick with it?
That's a great question. And I'll tell you what I told a group at our corporate wellness workshop earlier today. I challenged this group to start walking every day, because whether you're a world-class athlete like yourself or you're a senior citizen who's just trying to live pain-free, walking is one of the best exercises you can do. And I didn't always believe that when I was younger, especially playing sports. Like, I didn't walk anywhere. Like, if I'm not practicing the sport or playing the sport, I'm resting. And that was my mentality half a lifetime ago. But now, after experiencing the benefits of walking, I'm like the believer in it, right? So I challenge this group to just start with 10 minutes, right? Most of you can do 10 minutes, and most of you are going to find 10 minutes is easy. And that's the point. I want you to do something that's easy and repeatable that you can do day after day. And then over time, you increase, in this case, the amount of time that you're doing it. It goes from a 10-minute walk to 15 to 20. Eventually, you're doing half an hour or longer. But if you start out with the half an hour, some people can do that. For some people, that's too much. And they get overwhelmed, they get frustrated, they get down on themselves because they've taken on too much at once.
Wow, so that's the key.
Just baby steps.
And then gradually increase. Baby steps, right? Gradually your way up. Another kind of related story. My son's going to be doing a cross-country meet in a few weeks.
Wow.
And so he had his first practice today. Before I came here, he's telling me about, we had to do 6 laps. I said, okay, cool. How did it go? Well, I ran the first lap hard, then I walked a bit, then I ran again, then I walked a bit. And then the last lap, I ran as hard as I could. And I said, okay, cool. Next time, I want you to run just a little bit faster than your walking pace. Oh, Dad, that's easy. Yes, it's easy. And I want you to go that pace for the whole 6 laps without stopping. You can do that, then we'll gradually go a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And by the meet, hopefully, you're at a faster pace and you can sustain that pace for the whole time without stopping, right?
Wow, that's how simple it is.
Simple,
but it's not like
it's
easy.
Not easy. It's
That's
simple.
the thing. It's not easy.
Podcast thing and everything, it's like, okay, I want to tell other people how it's possible from you, but it's kind of a workshop for myself. Like, I want to learn more about you. You know, Joe Rogan is one of the like inspiration for me.
Absolutely.
Like, that man has become one of the like smartest guy out there.
Yeah.
And I don't think he reads as much. I don't know. So I just think, but he talks to people. He's very interested. He does a little bit research.
Anybody. He can have a conversation with
Literally
human.
anybody.
Like, it's crazy.
And ask very insightful questions. I mean, he's such a, people underestimate how brilliant an interviewer he is. He asks such good questions. He's a good listener. That's another thing, right? He lets, oftentimes you'll see some of these shows, especially on like regular TV, and they're not really listening to what the person has to say. Like, they've asked the question and they're already ready to jump in on the next one, right? Whereas Joe, like, he asks a question, lets that person serve up the answer before he comes in for
He's
the next
genuinely interested in it.
Exactly.
Like, the man is talking about one day chimpanzee, the chimpanzee, and the next day alien, and the third day about shroom, and the fourth day he's talking about fighting.
Exactly.
And he's so present, like, with each person, so in the moment. And it doesn't even feel like it's an interview. And I think that's the magic behind it. Like, it's just like, you're just there having conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he's phenomenal. So that is, just to make a point, I was bringing him up. I'm like, I want to learn. Like, so from this whole podcast as of now, if one thing I'm going to take out, that's, you know how, who is that? A controversial guy from Toronto University.
Jordan Peterson.
He like set the bar low.
Yes.
Low enough that you don't even have to think.
That's exactly what we're talking about. Make it easy. In Jordan Peterson's words, set the bar low so that you can do it. And it's so easy that you can come back and do it again and again and again. And then over time, because now you've been consistent, you can turn the dial up. You can, if it's a walk, you can go from 10 to 15. If it's meditation, you can go from a 1-minute meditation to 2 minutes, right? And over time, now you're at a 10 or 15-minute meditation.
I wanted to just like quickly mention, I saw that you won a bronze medal at the World Championships for deadlifting like over 600 pounds, which is just like mind-blowing. I can't even like comprehend that. But I guess, like, is that kind of a similar thing? Like, you started really like from the bottom and worked your way up.
That's so. Wow. I competed in powerlifting from 2014 to 2018, so about 5 years. First meet I did was 2014. I was 39, and I did a local meet. Then I did provincials, and then in 2015 I turned 40, and I did my first nationals. So then I won nationals in 2015, and later that year I go back into the gym after some time off, and I'm doing a light workout with my wife. I've put on one plate, so 135 pounds, which is a warm-up, right? For in my case, it's a warm-up.
Wow.
And
If
I know.
I do,
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, yeah, warm up, sure.
so I do like my first few reps, and I feel something in my knee, and I'm like, oh, that feels good. So I rack it, and it would turn out like it wasn't like a tear, but my knee didn't completely heal for about a year, and I had to take about a year off of
because of that lift.
from that one day in the gym with my like a nothing kind of workout, and I ended up jacking up my left knee. I didn't come back until 2017.
Wow.
So 2015, 2016, I was out. 2017, I came back, did a local, did a provincials, did nationals in 2018, and then qualified for worlds, which is what you ended up seeing on the.
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
so at 43, I competed at worlds. And
Where was that?
That was in
Sorry.
Calgary, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I competed there. I won bronze in the overall and in my weight class, and I won a silver in the deadlift in my weight class, which was 83 kilos at the time. Yeah, so that was a fun journey.
God.
That is phenomenal. At 43, you rocked the.
43 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Wow.
Oh, good for you for just like finding another outlet like later in life. It just shows you that it's possible to keep going.
Totally.
Like look for new challenges, seek out. Like you can keep growing no matter how old you are, right? Like
Absolutely. It comes down to a mindset around age number, and having the mindset that you can do more than you realize, and to really challenge yourself in whatever domain it is to try to be the best you can be in that particular thing. And so at that time, powerlifting was my thing, and I just had a lot of fun doing it. Now I've found a new outlet at 49, which is jiu-jitsu now.
You're looking for the challenge
Yeah.
every single day.
Totally,
You're like,
totally.
okay, I'm not going to do track, football. I'm not going to do soccer or football, whatnot.
Right.
I'm going to do powerlifting.
Right.
And you took it to the world level. Let me do BJJ. Like, that's amazing. And you are doing this one along with running one of the, like, the business.
Yeah. And I think they click each other. I think, as you know, as a professional fighter who does BJJ extensively, like, it's such a chess match.
It is.
Right? It's like this physical chess match, and it's really about strategy, especially with jiu-jitsu. Like, wrestling, there's technique in every combat sport, but like, if you're extremely strong, you can dominate some people in wrestling without having the best technique. If you have heavy hands and your hands land on somebody, I don't care how skilled they are,
Yeah.
they're going down, right? With jiu-jitsu, it doesn't work like that.
Did you see Dimitri Johnson?
Exactly.
He's super heavy guy.
Exactly.
He's just,
right? And he's like, Mighty Mouse is like 130, 140.
yeah, something like that.
That small guy. And most recently this year, he competed in the absolute division and fought against a guy who's trained, who knows jiu-jitsu, who's 250 plus pounds.
And that guy's
And he
little
beat him.
135.
Really?
Exactly. And then seeing like how a smaller person can defeat a larger person with strategy, with technique, with problem solving. It's just this endless challenge. So like I turn 50 next year. I plan to do my first competition when I'm 50. And then I feel like as long as I can stay healthy, I'll do this as long as I'm able. Right. So
I love
Yeah.
that. That is so inspiring.
thank
Wow.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Time is
Yeah.
up already. But before that, Sienna is going to do some rapid fire with you.
What is your favorite post-workout meal?
Amazing. Steak.
Steak.
Like a-
Medium
like a
rare or like
16 ounce medium rare ribeye steak, and I'm good.
beautiful. Love that. What is your least favorite exercise?
The Bulgarian split squat. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a money exercise, but I don't like doing them.
Got it. Okay. Who is your biggest role model?
Wow, I've got a few. So my mother for sure, my father for sure. My dad is an incredible role model. My mom definitely was. Just her disposition, just a very graceful, gentle person. And I just loved that energy that she had. In terms of coaching, Charles Poliquin, Charles Glass, and Charlie Francis, all named Charles, are probably my biggest influences. So Charlie Francis is one of the best track coaches who ever lived.
Wow.
Charles Glass is a legendary bodybuilding coach who's coached everybody you can think of. And then Charles Poliquin is a legendary strength coach who passed away, and he's coached Olympic from, I think it's 27 different sports. And so I learned from all three of those people, and many, many more. Those three in particular.
Do you believe in cheat meals?
I do believe I call them free meals, because my mindset around it is that everything we do now is intentional with respect to food and the choices we make. And so if we want to have cheesecake, we're not cheating. We're intentionally choosing to have cheesecake. And in the context of a well thought out nutrition plan, it's all good, right? We can have that and we can do that, and we're not gonna hurt ourselves, and we can enjoy that in the context of a well thought out nutrition plan. So yes, I believe in free meals, and depending on the person's situation and goals, we'll have that more or less frequently. But yeah, I'm a believer.
That's a really nice approach to food. I definitely have more questions about that.
Totally. I'll come back next time. We'll dive in on, dive in on that.
Yeah.
Totally.
Final question. What is your proudest achievement?
Wow. So I think my proudest achievement is and continues to be my kids. They are two of my biggest teachers. So, I've been parent, so I'm supposed to be the one teaching them, and to a degree that's true, but they're also my biggest teachers. They've taught me to be a better human. They've taught me to regulate my emotions better, to be more compassionate, to be more gentle, to be more understanding, to listen better. And I don't always get it right, but I think 10 plus years that I've been a parent, they've really helped me to be better at those things. And so I would say my kids, those two.
That was a beautiful response. Wow.
Well, Coach, thank you very much. I
Thank
wish
you
we had a little longer time. We did not even scratch the surface today.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much more to learn from you.
Thanks again.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again,
Thank
Coach.
you.
being here.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
having me.
it.
Absolutely. Awesome, guys.
Thank you.